Greetings, everyone. It's Monday, the 15th of September. Cheers. Got my J.J. Pearson t-shirt on. Drummer for Toxic Reasons. One of many bands that RAF has shared the stage with. I've actually played with Toxic Reasons as well. I gotta tell you, folks, I'm still buzzing from the show. I want to thank Trevor Henderson. There's two more versions of the video from different audiences members. I know I had his permission to upload it on my channel. It's right there for you to see. So proud of this band and our legacy. And I need to talk about it a little bit more because I'm still just seriously on a natural high from it's the end of an era for the band. 40 years the band has been. Paul Murky, the guitarist, started the band in 1984. I joined in 1985, and that's when things really took off for the band as far as our consistent legacy of high energy and great performance. I was stoked yesterday that pretty much based on the video, sold an album. Haven't sold many RAF records recently myself, but someone in Spain bought one. I'll be shipping that off today. I'll try to remember because there's things to explain. So early on in the comments, someone asked, where did you get the new lead singer? Well, I need to explain. It's not a new lead singer. Dan Stewart joined the band along with Kelly, and I forget what year it was. I can look it up and find out. But Kelly and Dan, who are related by marriage, Kelly married Dan's sister. They were big fans of the band back in the 80s. So when they approached us, I think sometime in the 2000s, for I have the recording. There was going to be a big punk rock reunion, and that was kind of what got us going again, because we basically never broke up, but we just basically kind of after our original lead singer, who also along with Paul originated the band, after he ended up in prison the second time, we continued on with a few shows with a couple different friends who would sing for us. James Widmark, the young man who designed our album cover, our CD cover rather, for These Days of Tears, he did a show with us. And Colt Lightning, I forget what town he's in. I think it's in California, but he does a one-man show called Colt Lightning. But when he was a kid, he was Oopie, and he sang for us one show. I also need to explain that for the last set that you saw, those 4 songs we did were from our original RAF tape, These Days of Tears, which came out in 1986, recorded in my basement of my old house. Same recording setup that I used to record NoFX, and actually several other bands, including Buck Naked and the Bare Bottom Boys, the band that Primus has eulogized in 2 different videos. They recorded their very first demo in my house, in my basement. I still have the 4-track master, just like I still have the 4-track master tapes of NoFX and other local bands. Cheers. Mm. When we decided for sure that we were going to go ahead and do the punk rock barbecue, we discussed as a band what to play, and we chose 4 songs from our original set from this cassette, which if you look this up on Discogs. I looked it up this morning because last I had looked, one had gone for $100, but I see on here in June of this year, one of these went for $150. This is a legendary recording, and it is a grail item for many punk rockers internationally. So we chose 4 songs from there to honor the legacy of the band, including the original singer Matt Miller, but also because the songs from the album No Salvation, which I have copies of, those songs are tough. And Dan had to admit that he didn't think that he could make it through singing the songs emotionally and also register-wise. Kelly had a high voice. And it's so bittersweet because Dan and I, Dan more than I, but we tried to do interventions with Kelly regarding his issues, as Kelly was well loved by everybody, not just the punk rock community, but in spite of all of that, he hated himself. And it's all in the lyrics, not all of them, but on the album. No salvation, that's what he's talking about. There's no salvation for a wretch like me. I'm so glad that I don't feel those thoughts. And I didn't try. I let him know as humanly possible how much I loved him and his family. Still very close to Momo, his son. So I thought I would show this before I move on. So I still have my copy, but I was smart enough to keep a sealed copy. It's coming undone at the top, but it's not. It's not resealed. It's unsealed. I have an unsealed copy of These Days of Tears. I've never endeavored to sell it. It means that much to me. When I look online here and see where the top price that it's gone for is $175, I said, yeah, that's legacy. I've got this one sealed copy. I would consider selling it. I'd consider selling it, but the starting price would be $200, and it's obviously worth that and much more to a lot of people. So I'm throwing that out there. Not that I want to sell it, but I have a sealed copy. I'm probably the only one that does. We made the tape. The cassette was when it was manufactured was in a very limited amount, maybe at most 250 copies at most were manufactured, and I'm just real proud of the legacy. You can see, I'm glad that so many people have watched the video, and if you haven't watched the video yet, watch it, listen to it. You can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to just go to the comments section because the comments, the accolades have just poured in from folks who watched the video because it is powerful. Very powerful. Just missed that mess. excuse me. I'm also pleased that in general, when I post music videos, my music videos, the watch count is lower. Usually, every video when I speak, within a day, there's 1,000 plus views. I'm happy that this people are looking at this video. Um, it's up to about 700 views right now, and that's good because I've been saying this forever, and I'm so glad that I wasn't BSing the. Come on now, there it is. So I didn't exaggerate. I have never exaggerated about this band. The proof is right there in our last performance. The other thing is that even that night, people were saying, "Well, I hope this isn't it." And then the lady Teresa from Kansas City, who just met me, we talked at length, and she had kind of a standard response in that, "Oh yeah, sure, this is your last show." I told her, "No, honey, you don't," and I did say it like that. "No, you don't understand. The history of this band is not typical. We've never toured. It took everything that we could to get that album out finally. The original tape came out because I took it upon myself to make sure it got done. Um, Dan, Paul, and I live in Omaha. The original singer, Matt, is in Sioux Falls. I've actually blocked him. So if you see this, Matt, I've been through hell. I love that man, but I've been through hell with him. And Tim, the drummer, is in Tempe, Arizona. And I've said it before, we could get together with a different drummer and play the songs, but it would not be RAF for me or Paul. Tim has a particular way, and he worked hard because when we first started out, and the drummer is important. He wasn't up to my personal standard as a drummer, and he worked hard to get that Tim Cox thing together. I've played RAF music with other bands with other musicians and with other drummers sitting in. It's only RAF when it's Paul, Tim, and myself at the core. You all can read the comments yourselves, but I just love it. I just love these comments. This is so ace. Yes, thank you. I love that term too. Ace. Fantastic performing. Great sound quality. Hoping it'll get covered on the local media. That's rock and roll, what it's all about. Yes, thank you. I think we'll probably at least be getting a review on Substack from Mark Manor, who is the local music guy from Homer's. He was at the show. Excellent bass work, drive, energy, skill, and tasty. A cross between punk, the jam, and a good metal band. Thank you. So many people really like the bass tone, and I don't use pedals. I was using someone else's rig. I didn't use his pedals at all. I love this one. This goes hard as fuck. That is it. Perfectly. Endorphins is what you feel. Yes. The audience felt it too. Yes. Even my sister caught the energy. As I've said before, we don't fuck around. And we have blown away many bands. We played the gamut from Dead Kennedys to Municipal Waste, Weirdos, Negative Approach, Cro-Mags, even opened for Bang Tango, all kinds of bands. I can hardly remember, all the bands. Adrenaline OD, Descendants. For a while, it seemed like every D band that came through, we were the opening band. DRI, Dirty Rotten Impulse, we played with them, opened for them on 2 different occasions. most of these bands that caught us, GBH, they let us know, God damn, you guys are the shit. We are the shit. And I'm extremely proud of the shape that I'm in at 70 years old. And I know there's a lot of rockers older than me still doing it. But I'm still doing it vital, baby. Vital. And so this is also another reason why the camaraderie that I have with legendary punk bassist Mike Watt means so much to me, and why that's not on the back burner. As soon as I can get the second part of my plan of it together, which is to record some total rhythm tracks, which be on all the real instruments to send to Mike to work on. That's one of the ideas I have, is a bass duet, a track where it's both Mike and I on bass. That's still in the works, and that means the world to me because we recognize one another. I think I can speak for Mike by saying that we are bass brothers. There are many bass players who are much better than me, but I hold it down. If I play with you, I'll make it sound better. So I'm gonna put it out there. I have a sealed copy of These Days of Tears. This is a holy grail. I'll consider letting it go, starting at $250. And that's not an exaggeration. The last one sold for $150. It brings me that means a lot to me. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much. So I'll get that out in the mail to Spain today. I'll leave the link because, okay, so the other thing is people know that this is on my Bandcamp site. It's way down. It's an old upload, but you can get it digitally on my Bandcamp site, and then there's an RAF site for the No Salvation. I'll put the links for both. And I saw in the latest Michael P. Dawson video where he was talking about how his music is no longer going to be available on Bandcamp. Well, I intend to use Bandcamp until they tell me they will not allow. See, when I go to my site here on Bandcamp, it says here, we've updated how payouts work on Bandcamp. Complete your new payout setup today to get the most from the updated payout system. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have to update to that. And unless they force me to, I'm going to continue to use PayPal. So for the time being, I'm sticking with PayPal. Oh, I'm sticking with Bandcamp. Okay, it's very it's been very useful to me, and until they force it, it's PayPal. I have never had a problem with PayPal, even though I've heard about problems with PayPal. I've never had any. So once again, I want to thank everyone who's been a part of this journey. For the longest time, digital sex felt like one of my crowning achievements. It still is. But for a long time, especially after we made the album, after the album got issued on CD out of France, and that made the MTV Music News, that felt like a crowning achievement for me. But since then, on many levels, RAF and my history with them has outstripped digital sex as far as penultimate achievements for me. I'm still very proud of what I did with digital sex. It turned out that one of the drummers from one of the other bands, he used to be in, we were just talking about the band, they broke up. The name will come to me in a second. Tall guy. Real nice guy. Turns out he knows the original guitarist from Digital Sex, John Tingle. I didn't know that. Somehow it came up in the conversation. And then we got to talking because John Tingle and I go back to childhood. And John Tingle was so good as a teenager, he inspired me to be better. That's why I play like I do. I don't practice much, but I can play up. I can accept the challenge. Like, for example, Imperial Triumphant. Let me go to that again. I'm just going to tell you, people, I really like this album a lot. And I bothered to read the lyrics on and it's like these people are just, they're not pulling our leg about anything, but these guys are monster musicians. The bass playing and the drumming, all this, these guys are crack musicians. I could get up to this level. It would take me probably a week or two, maybe longer, of dedicated practice, but I can learn this stuff. I can play that. I can play about anything. The other thing that I don't want to forget to mention is that please note the variety and the breadth of music that I encompass. There I am playing hardcore punk rock with metal infused. I'm selling you, not selling you, but you folks have been buying my solo material. That's a whole different bag. And besides that, I do improv. I've done jazz. I played practically blues. I've played practically everything. It's why I'm in the Hall of Fame. Twice, about to go a third time. Thank you for letting me go on about that, okay? I'm stoked to the max about going out with a bang, doing the legacy of RAF right. We've had shows where things, we always have bad shows, but we've always tried our hardest, and it was great to go out with a bang. If you haven't watched the video, you need to watch it. We are a world-class band. Even though we've never had a record contract and all that shit, we're one of the best ever. We are. Go and see for yourself and hear for yourself. That ain't arrogance, baby. That's fact. I love it. I love it. I do. And I've always represented the idea that this music belongs to everyone and invited people of all stripes, all types, all colors, black, brown, gray, green, red, yellow, straight, gay, trans, lesbian, whatever. And we had the gamut there. We had friends come to the show, trans friends, gay friends. So proud of this band. So, a couple records, because I've just been buzzing. I've watched the video actually a few times. I'm really... Okay, do you feel me? And like I said, 40 years, a 40-year history is what has come to a close. That's why it's so monumental to me. So anyway, I did play some music yesterday. Hand Cannot Erase, Steven Wilson, because I was trying to remember which song it was. It's on side D, where he does Happy Returns, or is it Ancestral? I think it's Ancestral, where it builds up to this really, really interesting riff that Steven Wilson is wrestling with. He's like, I don't think pardon me. I think if he were to revisit this riff and redo it, he could capture it. It's just out of reach. It's that cool. It's that cool of a riff. And the way that they approach it in the song is like, they start playing it, they play it. Marco Miniman on drums doing a great job. They don't quite get it, so it goes back down to another part, then it comes back to it, and the second time it's a more charged, but they still haven't. It's a very interesting riff. I learned it when I first got the record. I said, this is something else. It's powerful, but it's still, they didn't quite get it. Steven Wilson is badass. And Richard, thank you for keeping that option open. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, the mere fact that it's possible that Steven Wilson would talk to me, I think it's the best. It's the bomb. I love it. He is a very interesting man. So I was watching some videos, and let me not forget to mention some of the bands that, when it comes to, because I like metal, I like heavy music, and I'm putting in my USB so I can look at my list in my metal folder. Some of the bands that I really like: Testament, Kitty. I like Kitty. I like those girls. I really like, they kick ass. Kitty is great. Other bands that I really, really like are Exodus. I had their first album, Bonded by Blood. Don't have it anymore. Megadeth, same with Megadeth. I had those when they first came out, not anymore. I love Testament and Alex Skolnick. Veil of Maya. I've seen Veil of Maya. They were awesome. Voivod. These are some of the heavier bands, not necessarily punk, but Nile, Catatonia, Dillinger Escape Plan, Better Lovers, okay? Car Bomb are the bomb, okay? Those are some of the bands, some heavy bands that I like, and I was watching some videos yesterday, so I wanted to include that. Another band that I've seen live, who I absolutely love musically. Their lyrics have always been kind of stupid to me. Not stupid, but it's like, this is teenage stuff. Slayer. And when this first came out, I bought it on CD because it blew me away. Angel of Death, that scream, and the pace of the riffs, the whole band blew, This is the cool reissue that came out. I listened to almost all of this yesterday, and I still love this album. And the way the album ends, Raining Blood, very powerful. I still have their first two albums as well. Funny enough, I was just talking to someone, because Jerry Cantrell played in Omaha. He played in Omaha Saturday night at the Astro, same night as the Punk Rock Barbecue. And son of a gun, a couple folks I see went to Jerry Cantrell and then came to RAF afterwards. But I saw Alice in Chains at the bottom of the bill with Anthrax, Slayer, and Megadeth before anyone knew who Alice in Chains was around here. And the audience was trying to boo them off the stage, and Lane Staley let them have it. Lyrically and with finesse, and they kicked ass. And Jerry Cantrell, I saw it myself. Jerry Cantrell's a very good guitarist. But that was cool that some people, it meant that much to them. Well, we want to see Jerry Cantrell, but we're not going to miss RAF. And I saw a post from a couple folks where, oh shit, they were at Jerry as well as our show. I love music of all types. And we've lost more people, so let me remember that. So I pulled this in honor of the passing of Hermeto Pascoal. Talk about another giant, truly a musical giant. A truly I can tell from what I've seen of his documentary and footage and stuff, plus all the records that I have several by Hermeto Pascoal, but I pulled this one. This is a joy. Legao Decano a Municipio de Arape, I can't even say it right, with his group Grupo. It's a Brazilian label. This is a joy. This album, it goes from swinging to fusion to this folk music, this folk. And he always includes, it's like he was a community I could just tell he was a community figure, like a father figure for so many, always including children in a lot of his work. And he was apparently an educator, one of those kind of people where that's also part of my legacy, why I was recognized in the Hall of Fame back in 2019, not just for all the bands I've been in, including RAF, but being recognized for an encourager, someone who has encouraged other people, in particular the youth. That's been recognized here. It is recognized in Omaha. So rest in peace, Armito Pascual. We also lost half of the Tommy Boyce, Bobby Hart writing team. I think it was Tommy Boyce who passed away. But also Stephen Luscombe, half of Blancmange, passed away. We'll probably hear about more deaths today and the next day. But I thought I'd show this because I knew I had this, hadn't listened to it forever. A single put out by West India Company. And this is a remix of it by Andrew Weatherall, Oh Je Suis Soul, the Bhagwan Boogie Mix. And Stephen Luscombe was part of this project. And apparently Boy George was too, but Boy George is not listed on here. But Pandit Dinesh and Asha Bhosle are on here along with Stephen Luscombe. I played this because I keep it. Oh, excuse me. I hadn't played it since the 90s. The B-side is a remix by Dr. Alex Patterson and Andrew Weatherall. So it has that orb thing going on. Rest in peace. Hate to lose our brothers. I played some more of this. I think I like this better than the actual album. The Harmonic Divergence remixes of the Evan Pearson remix on here is really, really, really good. Really good. Love Steven Wilson. What else? I think yes, here was one. This was from a couple days ago. It was actually on Saturday, day of the show. Sitting because I'm out of room. So one thing I've been doing is taking records out that I only have one of to make sure I could put all different records I bought in recent months where it's an addition to a collection of an artist. I want them all together. And so this got pulled out. But for the first time, this really hit. It really hit. This is good. Sweet Thursday. And I've owned this on 2 different occasions. Had it a long time ago. Sold it because it never connected really. And Saturday, it's like, oh, okay. Sweet Thursday. The guys in the band, Nicky Hopkins, Alan Davies, who was with Cat Stevens. I have Alan Davies' solo album They Do, which inspired my song Little Black Dog on Dereck number 2. That's how much I like his work. John Mark of Mark Allman on here. Those are the 3 main writers. And this is an original, a wooden nickel. And it starts off great with The Dealer. And it just really, every song all the way to the end, it's like you just let it play. It just hit. This is really good. I'm glad I bought a second copy of it. Sweet Thursday. I love music. And because it's sitting up, because it was just there, next to the Hand Cannot Erase. I don't play my picture disc, generally speaking, but I just pulled it because it was like, well, let me just look at it. I mean, I got it. But picture disc 12-inch single of Luminol and the Watchmaker from this particular album. Picture disc. Nice, eh? So we're already over the 30 minute mark. So I'm gonna sign off here. get some breakfast. I'm going to say it again very proudly, and I don't think I'm overstating it. You really ought to watch that video of the last RAF set ever. That's it. It would be a highly unusual situation that would allow us to come together as RAF and play again. And the other thing to explain to you is that Paul, who started the band, he's done. He doesn't want to play. And that's it. He's done. As far as he's concerned, that was it. And he said, when we talked afterwards yesterday, it's been a hell of a run. Hell of a run. And we capped it off just right, honoring the entire legacy of the band going all the way back to the beginning. Watch that video. Get the album. Download the original RAF off of my Bandcamp. And once again, you want a copy of this? It's still sealed. I'll take no less than $250 for it, and it's worth it. Okay? Peace. Family, hold on. I never forget your family. I'm always thinking about you. So much love to you all. Much love to my family, my friends, my punk rock family, my international family of music lovers and friends. Y'all have a great day and evening.